$500. That's right. What's up, JMO? How's it going, man? Ant-Man, what's up? Welcome to the Build Show, JMO. Welcome to the Build Show, Ant-Man. Welcome to the Build Show, Tim. How is your evening going? I hope your Wednesday was as humpful as Wednesday should be, since it is a hump day. Put a GoPro on, Max. That is actually not a terrible idea. We'd have lots of adventures. Lots of crotches. No, I'm just kidding. Terrible. Don't say that. Pretty good. How about you? Doing pretty good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So tonight, we are actually going to start out with John's build. The build that we were going to do yesterday. Because today we actually have the power supply. What's up, Mike Thompson? Welcome back to the Build Show. Welcome in. Get your snacks, your snacky poos. My Wednesday is doing a lot better now. Oh, that's a good one. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate that. I appreciate that a lot. But we actually have a power supply here. So we can actually build John's PC. It's a 750 watt, 80 plus gold by Sagitech that we were waiting for yesterday. And it wasn't here. And I thought it was here, but it wasn't here. So what's for dinner? I've honestly not thought that far ahead because of the hospital situation that we have with Mrs. Empower's mom. We've been kind of out of sync with the dinners. So, it's probably going to be another sandwich night, to be honest. And I haven't eaten yet dinner anyways. I ate a pretty late lunch, so while we were at the hospital earlier today. So that is where we're at right now. Yeah. But regarding John, John's a pretty cool dude. If you guys want to learn more about John, I would highly recommend checking out his Facebook page. I could post that in the Discord, or I might be able to drop it here in the chat if you give me a minute. But if you go look up Power Age, pronounced Power Age, like Power and the Age, which was a band actually formed in 2021. John actually played bass previously in Dirty Deeds, Detroit's AC/DC tribute, for over 5 years, playing the role of Cliff Williams. So, pretty cool to be building for a bass player. This is the dude that called you the other week. He called me he was on the phone with me yesterday. Ayo, what's up, man? Welcome to the Build Show. Bear 319 over on Twitch. Welcome to the Build Show, sir. But he's done a lot of cool things. Mostly the band experience, I guess you're gonna get is AC/DC. So if you like AC/DC or rock or Led Zeppelin, that kind of stuff, I would highly recommend checking out their band. They're local here in Michigan too, which is really cool. But this PC that we're building for him is to help with video editing, because they record their practices and they record some of their events, so he needs a really good PC to help with video editing, and this is what we're going to be building for him. And he also wanted it to look cool, and he wanted to play a few games on it, so we did kind of adjust it. Got myself a 4060 Ti to run games, to stream. Not a problem at all so far. It's a great card to run that. Hope your mom gets better. It's my mother-in-law. Yes, we're all hoping she gets better here. She's on the upswing right now, so everything's going good. Love when you say that you have a look at a products on a table. Yeah. It's, of course, anybody you go to, everybody's gonna say, well, you need a 4090 or a 5090. You don't need a 5090 or a 4090 to achieve, streaming and gaming on the same PC. A 4060 could do it. So I know quite a few people that game Call of Duty and stream on the same PC with a decent enough CPU, which is the secret, and a 4060 or a 3060 even. So a lot of people do that on the budget. Wait, how is your Mardi Gras yesterday. Wait, how was your Mardi Gras yesterday? I don't understand the question, maybe. Oh, I didn't do any of that. You don't need a 5090, but you should have a 4090. Yes, if you can find those, if they exist. I only hear that they are now legends. What's a good budget FPS per dollar CPU to pair with the B580? The B580 being the graphics card. I like the i5-12600 KF. You can usually find that for like $130, $140. It's a really good budgetary CPU. And if you want to stay in the AMD family, definitely a Ryzen 5 5600X, or specifically on a B550, you do want PCIe 4.0 for that card. Or you can go to AM5 and get just a 7600. It'll do fine. Couldn't find one, so I settled for a 4060 Ti, and for streaming, doing great. Yeah, it'll handle it. And eventually, when this shortage fizzles out, you know, you could probably plop a 5070 or 5070 Ti in there, and it'll be a great fit for the system. Fat Tuesday. Oh, gotcha. Totally went right over the head. Didn't get anything. No punch keys, no nothing. We didn't have time to do any of that here at the Empower household. No punch keys. It's terrible. So nothing really happened on Fat Tuesday. But anyway, I will, if you give me a second, I'm going to drop his Facebook page over here on the chat, so you guys could go check out John's band. John is who we're building for tonight. Really cool. Really cool. Hold on a second, guys. I had to step away to actually make those links happen because I have to go do that at my keyboard on the PC way over there. So the two links I sent you, one is, I believe, for a show that's upcoming, and then also his band page. So really cool. If you want to check them out, I highly recommend it, especially if you're into like old school rock, like AC/DC. I call it old school, but I actually still really like AC/DC. I love Led Zeppelin. I love Rush. All those. I grew up on that stuff, so as weird as it might sound, and then I kind of shifted over to more of a alternative rock, so like Queens of the Stone Age and all of them. That's kind of the stuff I grew up on and enjoyed as a young man. Does that Intel CPU take DDR5? You could, so it's a 12th gen, so it's a 12th gen could be either DDR4 or DDR5, depending on which motherboard you get. So you could go either way with that. Have a good one. I'm playing CS2, LOL. Have a good stream, brother. Yeah, no problem, man. Thanks for stopping in and hanging out. All right, guys, let's run through the build and let's get started on this thing, because we're going to try to cram 2 builds into this tonight. Hopefully, maybe, possibly. I don't know. Maybe we get through one and then we call it. But we have an AMD Ryzen 7 7700X, which has got the 8 cores and the 16 threads. So this is going to be the heart for his video production. It's probably going to use the all 8 cores for all of that for his rendering when he's doing his videos. We do have a contact frame that we did purchase for the build from Thermalright. It's an AM5 contact frame. And then we have a Thermalright Frozen Note, which is a 360mm AIO. It's got three 120mm fans, and of course the fancy mirror on the block with the addressable RGB throughout it. Really cool cooler, and Gamers Nexus gave it a really good review as well. With that, we have the Gigabyte V650 Gaming X AX V2 that we're going to be building into, along with 32 gigs of DDR5, 6000 megahertz, and I believe this is CL36. Yes, and it is part of the Micro Center bundle that we can grab for a really good deal, which is part of the reason why we're able to build this at the price that we're building it, is thanks to Micro Center. On top of that, we have a 1 terabyte SSD, M.2, Silicon Power. This is the US75 model, and then we have a secondary SSD, which is the 2 terabyte US75. So both super high speeds. I wanted to make sure we had some really good speeds on these SSDs. At the same time, we're trying to keep it within budget, so Silicon Power is the brand that we went with, and they're both around the same speed, specifically so he could move data around if he needs to while he's working in and out of his... I'm going to assume he's going to be using DaVinci Resolve or something like that. Then we have the RTX 4060 Ti, which is an 8GB graphics card. We did go with the Gigabyte model, so we do have Gigabyte with Gigabyte motherboard and Gigabyte graphics card with a Gigabyte. Hey, what's up, Steve? Welcome back to the build show. Hey, you got the power supply? Yes. The SedgeTap 750 watt is here. Thank goodness. Which we're getting to right now. Yeah, we have the 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply by SedgeTap. We do have some power supply extension cables here, which are purple and black per John's request. And the case that we're building in is a Montech XR. You've probably seen me building this a couple of times already, at least. And we do have some bottom intake fans that are reverse blades. So the fans will continue to stay consistent throughout the build, facing all the same direction, but the airflow will be the correct directions for all of them. So that's why we select reverse blades for intake on the bottom. We do have 3 of them, so it'll fill it out and make it look really nice, along with the 3 fans from the cooler at the top, the 2 on the side and the 1 on the rear. It's going to be filled out, and he could put on some shades and really get an RGB tan going with this RGB system. So without further ado, I think you guys know what time it is. It's build time. So let's get building. Just gonna wait to see if somebody actually answered the question. Maybe the delay is a little longer than I thought on YouTube. It's build time. Building yet again another awesome AM5 system. And what's up, Steve? I don't know if I told you. Welcome back to the build show. I know I commented on the power supply, but welcome back, sir. Another build. Let's do this. Let's do this, guys. This is episode number 500. To sit there and think, I started on episode 1 a long time ago. Before I was even on YouTube. A long time ago. It's a lot of episodes. That's 500 episodes. Now, in each of those episodes, some of them I had 5 builds in an episode. So, it's crazy to think how many PCs I've actually built. It's kind of disgusting. Makes me sick a little bit. I don't know why. You'd think I'd be able to build these things blindfolded by now. Hey, what's up, Sincere? Welcome back to the build show, sir. Solid hard. What CPU are we rocking? Thank you, Sincere, for posting that command, but you could always do the exclamation build if you're curious or missed the build out that we're gonna be building. But it is a Ryzen 7 7700X by AMD, which is AM5. Man, I wish I had 2 monitors right now. I think I'm gonna leave and play War Thunder. Maybe come back. Yeah, man, do your thing. I mean, that's what I would do. We'll see you later, man. But yeah, it's the AMD Ryzen 7700X that we're building with tonight. We're going to go ahead and start with the CPU like normal. This is our AMD Ryzen 7 7700X. AM5 CPU. I believe this one has a max boost of like 5.5 out of the box. Super powerful. 8 cores, 16 threads. Lots of performance. Almost a steal from Micro Center. So we're going to go ahead and drop this into the socket nice and gently. Make sure it's there. And then we're going to use our AM5 contact frame by Thermalright. This is a version 2. Now, I think we had a conversation before about this. I don't know if there's a major difference between version 1 and version 2. Somebody said there's some clearance that gets cleaned up on version 2. I don't know if that's real or not. Somebody said it. I can't remember who it was, but sounds right. Did you make it to Micro Center today? No. But I did get both the 5080 and the 5070 that I needed for the builds. They're on, well, one of them I have to pick up from a Best Buy down the street on the 14th, so it's not going to be here for another 10 days or 9 days. And then the other one is being shipped by Newegg. So I got one on Newegg and I got one on Best Buy. And it was a pain in the butt. So if you guys want to learn, maybe I could do a video on how to do this and kind of just walk through what I do to get these cards as close to MSRP as possible. I can share that with you. Maybe we do something on Discord, and maybe I could do a separate video, post it on YouTube. You passed out on the 5070 today? V2 contact frame has less gaps. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah, somebody said there was less something, or better clearance. But less gaps makes sense. Oops. We're going to drop that in over the CPU, and then we're going to use the 4 screws that are included with the contact frame to finish mounting it. 9070 XT goes on sale tomorrow. Yes, it does. I think we know one person here that might be targeting. I don't think he's in the stream yet, though. I haven't seen him in the chat. Maybe he's getting his rest so he could be awake early to get it. How many gamers will camp out on Micro Center today? I don't know. I am not going to be one of them. I'm too old for that. And here in Michigan, it's kind of cold. Actually, it got to 60 degrees today here in Michigan, but then it cooled right down. Like, back down to lower 30s right now. Which isn't that cold compared to other places, but cold enough. Too cold for me to go sit in front of Micro Center. Can I decide if I want a 5070 or a 9070? Or you can't decide? Oh, I mean, hands down, the 9070 is probably better, in my opinion. Unless you want ray tracing. If you want ray tracing, maybe you should go with an RTX card. Or if you're playing with a game that doesn't support like FSR as well, and it supports DLSS better, then maybe that's a deciding factor as well. But It's really what it comes down to now. I mean, but the 9070, in my opinion, will be a better card than the 5070. AMD claims it's 4 times faster than the 6800. I don't know why they compare it to a generation older than what's already released. Kind of strange. Maybe it sounds better rolling off the tongue that way. Yeah, it's 4 times better instead of 1 times better. I don't know. Great Lakes are probably pretty cold this time. Oh yeah, you don't want to go in the Great Lakes right now. In fact, most of the Great Lakes is probably still pretty frozen. I know if you go look at the bridge, it's probably all ice, or most of it is ice. All right, we've got our contact frame and our CPU installed, so next up is our RAM, which is going to be the Flare X5 by G.Skill. 32 gigs total, 2 16 gig sticks, running in dual channel at 6,000 megahertz at a CL36 timing. There we go. Snap that in place. We drop those into slots A2 and B2. And now that leaves us with 2 SSDs to install. We have a 2 terabyte NVMe SSD, which is going to be just a data drive. And then our boot/OS drive is going to be the 1 terabyte. These are both Silicon Power US75 drives. I'm going to put the 1 terabyte in the top, and I don't know, I should double check this, but I believe the bottom one is going to be the PCIe lane, and it does not impact the PCIe 16. Some motherboards have this feature where if you fill it out, it does impact the PCIe lane performance on the X16. It'll drop it down to 1x, or I'm sorry, 8x, which is half. We really don't want to do that, especially with a 4060 Ti. We want to try to keep it at full performance. A full 16. I'll double check it. Not very often do I get to do multiple drives on new builds. Usually we're starting out with a build and we start out with 1 or 2 terabytes and then they add it later. And that's usually when the question comes up. Hey, what slot should I put it in? I need another screw. So we're gonna put it in one of the 2 bottom slots down here. It's either the M.2.2 or M.2.3. I think I'm gonna drop it into M.2.3, which would be this guy. That's claiming to be, this one claims CPU, this one claims the motherboard bus. So I'm gonna put it on the motherboard bus. Because usually if it's on the CPU, 2 of them, it will bring the speeds down. At least that's what I've seen on motherboards. So just something to look out for. Read your motherboard manual. I'm going to go back and double check, but I'm pretty sure I'm right. We're only going to peel the one that we need. Pretty sure. Oh. There we go. So now that that's all installed, because we are doing an AIM 5 install with the Thermalright, we don't need to remove the brackets. We're going to be using those. They went out of stock fast, the 5070s, yeah. I'm going to get 2 or 3 just to hold a few on hand. Of the 9070s, I'm assuming. I would play World of Warcraft and Delta Force. Oh, nice. Yeah, I mean, I think either card would do good with those. I know a lot of people that play AMD with World of Warcraft. I don't know a ton of people that play Delta Force with an AMD card, but I have a 3070 Ti and it runs Delta Force pretty good. 4070 Ti Super or the 9070? I think I would still lean on the 9070, but the 4070 Ti Super does sound pretty good compared. But again, it comes down to, I would want to see it head to head, see what it does in a title. I don't care about the bench. I would want to see head to head in title with the same settings in comparison with DLS 4.0, DLSS, and FSR. See what the difference is. How dare I not wear an anti-static strap? I'm sorry. I thought you were supposed to get Trump on the phone. Or no, we were supposed. What else? It was either that or no. We were supposed to go 1v1 in Rocket League. That's what it was. Just looked at Best Buy. They still have 50 cents. They do not. I was just looking at them too, and they were all out of stock. Yeah, well, I mean, they probably saved money for the purchase of this GPU. I mean, leading up to this day, waiting. Because everybody and their mother told everybody to wait for the 50 series. And then the 50 series comes around and only 200 of them make it to the US. And then it's like, okay, don't know what to tell you. So, buy it or don't buy it. And the price is the price. And it sucked. Just trying to fix the camera there. All right, so we're ready for the case. Go ahead and get that out. You're across the state from me, so you got better options over there? I mean, if you have options, I'll drive over there. I got a buddy who lives in Muskegon. A couple of buddies that live over there now. So I have options. One of them doesn't pick up the phone, the other one will. The Empower card. Now go to Best Buy. And buy all of them. The Montec XR. They put tape on this and I can't get the panel off without taking it off. I'm sorry in advance, John. By the way, is anybody over there on Facebook? I haven't seen anything. Micro Centers is likely the RTX 50 series. They don't exist. Or it's like, yeah, I know. It's impossible. Zotac 5070 in stock on Newegg. What? Man, I just bought the wrong one at the wrong time. Got a really nice one, but it wasn't the greatest price. I think it was like north of 600. There's 2 Micro Centers over there? Damn. How many do Falcon Northwest have or Dell? I bet those companies have no problems getting... I bet they don't. I mean, they're buying in bulk, and they're probably pre-ordering from the manufacturers directly. So they get a phone call from their MSI rep, for example, and they ask them, how many do you need? And they say 500. And then they come back and say, well, we could do 450. So they negotiate and figure it out ahead of time, and that's before. A lot easier than doing it the way I have to do it. Maybe one day we'll be like Falcon Northwest. I'd love to get to that level. It'd be a lot of fun. Hopefully not at the same price point, because some of their systems are ridiculously priced. We'll admit that. And there's only 27 Micro Centers in the United States. How many Best Buys are there? There's thousands. I'm sure there's a ton of them. Every major city has one, I think, at least, right? How to turn my PC into a media center. You know, Windows used to have like a media center mode, and I don't know if that still exists. I haven't looked into something like that since like Windows Vista or Windows 7 era. Maybe it was Windows 8. Back when Microsoft tried to make the OS like a console. It was so stupid. Well, let's make an OS that runs like crap. It looks like an Xbox. We'll make tiles. Tiles seem cool. XP had that option? Yeah, XP had that option. That's right. I do remember that. Thank you, sir. Alright, so we should get everything that we need plugged into the bottom here. Hang out right there, sir. We're going to be putting some bottom fans in. We need to get all this filled out. And then before we put the cooler in, we need to get the top filled out. So, we have work to do. We've got USB-C there, USB 3 there. That's easy enough. Go ahead and start tackling these cables. One of the downsides is we do not have a hub. I do have a hub available if we need it. We think we need it, but I think we're just going to daisy chain everything and just deal with the cables. Deal with life. The cable life. Wink. Get in there, you. Now this is where it gets tricky, because I have an RGB connection, PWM connection. I think we're just going to have to undo all of this. Undo it! I posted the link to Zotac 5070 for $700. That's actually a little high. What Zotac 5070 is it? OC? Huh. Yeah, no, it's a good... Thank you for the link. A little higher on the price compared to some of them that I saw for like $599 and some that were $550, but it is the OC version. I don't know if it justifies that premium of a price, though. I'd say the 5070 launch, there were a lot more GPUs available versus the 5080 and 5090 launches. Holy smokes. The fact that I was even able to get a card on Newegg, and that was like earlier in the day, is pretty impressive. And the fact that there are still cards available now is impressive for NVIDIA. It's kind of sad that that's impressive. It's impressive that there's inventory. Is that USBs, or that, yep, there, and PWM there. So probably didn't need to undo all of this, but we're here now, so it is what it is. Alright, back over here, you. So AMD launches tomorrow, yes. The 9070... Is it both the 9070 and the 9070 XT, or is it just one or the other? Pretty sure both. Or the 9070 XT launches tomorrow for sure. Or is it just the one card? I thought it was two. Like I said, I have not been paying attention enough to that release. I still haven't even seen a comparison video yet, which I need to. Really would like to. There's that. Now we'll start with our EPS cables. We're going to get our 24-pin and our CPU EPS cables at the top. Get these done. We went with purple and black, which was requested by John. Beautiful color. Goes well with the band theme. Right? You just got a 6800 XT. I mean, it's still a great card, in my opinion. Yes, both models. Thank you, Jesse. 9070 XT trades blows with the 5070 Ti. That's impressive. So, yeah, to that previous question, the 9070, I would say XT is better than a 4070 Ti Super. Yeah? That's allegedly until we actually see it for sure, right? Apparently, OC 5070 AIBs are around 700. Yeah, I know. I know they're a little pricey. That's the model I had to get too, but I think it was an Asus model, so it was more expensive. Pretty sure it was Asus. It was even more expensive. It was north of, or just around 700 something, fortunately. A little more than I wanted to spend on a 5070, but can't do much about that. So I'm trying to decide, I think we just tuck it. This cooler inside this case. I think we're forced to just tuck this thing in for clearance. If I remember correctly, we had to do that previously. Rock and roll. There we go. Tuck it in. Little tummy tuck, EPS tuck. Now for the 24 pin, and then we'll tackle some bottom fans. Micro Center has a YouTube channel, and they built a computer today with a 9070. Oh, that's cool. I didn't know they had a YouTube channel and they did builds. Seems to be becoming a more and more common thing that you build PCs on YouTube. If you build PCs, you should build on YouTube. That's pretty cool. Jesse, and it's much cheaper with plenty of stock, yeah. But I feel like every tech tuber out there has been saying that, so I feel like there's a lot of people that are switching to AMD, especially after they've just switched to AMD CPUs from Intel. Now they're trusting the tech tubers, so I feel like 9070s are going to be targeted more, or the AMD cards in general are going to be targeted more. Especially when they prove that NVIDIA is full of shit when it comes to streaming. You know, you don't have to stream on an NVIDIA graphics card, you could actually do it on a AMD card. Once they get through that, More and more people will probably be joining AMD. Because of the raw performance. There we go. Nice purple and black cables there. Added some flair to the build. Ah. Hey, what's up, Bert? When you're putting clips on, can you snap one right next to the first one and slide it up? Are you talking about the cable combs? Yes, you could do that. And yes, they do slide. As an example, I'll show you quickly on this one. Looks good, Ben. Thank you. What about Intel GPUs? Intel GPUs are still great. So we're going to be putting this on the graphics card. I don't know what side. If not, then oh well. Switch it around. But really quick, if I put these clips on, which are called cable combs, I have a second one that I'm going to put in right next to it. Just for the questions. Let's say they're right next to each other. I can zoom in here so you can see. But I've got two of them right next to each other. And, you know, it's a little tight, but you can move them back and forth and slide them up and down the chain as needed. So, yes, you can do that. Hope that answers your question on the cable combs. It'll be like Christmas tomorrow, yeah. I do have to go to Micro Center for a couple of components, so I will actually try to make it down there. I just probably won't be making it down to the Micro Center here in Michigan until after 5 o'clock, so it might even be later than that. And man, I turned my PC into a console-like experience. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I did that back with Windows XP-ish. Or was it Windows 7 or Vista? I can't remember. It was one of the three. But it was before. I don't think you could use a controller, though. I think that was one of the things. But I had a keyboard actually very similar to the one that I'm using today on the stream that I was using. Intel is going the way of the dinosaurs. Extinct out here. Yeah, they really need to change their game. I mean, the Intel GPUs are pretty cool. I do like the Battlemage B580s. I meant using the first one to align with the second one, so you don't have to put them... Oh, okay. I find it easier, honestly. Bert, I find it easy to be able to split the cables like this as I'm putting the clips in. So if I'm able to do this, it's a lot easier rather than just trying to force it in. It goes a lot smoother when I do it that way. All right, so let's get these reversed blade fans that we have from Thermalright. These are reverse blades, so these are going to be intake on the bottom, facing upward because of the reverse blade. We're going to put them all in the bottom here, all three of them, and then we'll put our cooler in next. So it's fan time. You meant NVIDIA. Yeah, NVIDIA is such a big giant, though. I don't think it's possible for them to go extinct. They've got too many people brainwashed to follow them and their ways. Unfortunately, I do not see NVIDIA ever going extinct, and they're so diverse. They're in AI, they're in cloud, they're literally everywhere. They're so big, I don't think it's possible for them to go extinct. It would have to take a weird, hard, wrong turn by the CEO to really mess it up. Hey, what's up, Sir Chris Kringle? Woot woot! You made it! You did! Welcome to the Build Show, sir. Or welcome back to the Build Show. We are building John's PC. We got his power supply here today, just like I said we would. Thank goodness. Now we're building John's PC. He was at band practice. I did post some links earlier in the chat. Hearing his band, I'll probably post those back into the Discord and the Facebook page and tag him and his band after we're done with the build, and we have a good picture to take saying, "Hope you enjoyed the PC, John. It was a pleasure building," etc., etc., something like that. I'm not a PR guy. I don't know what to say. It's time they paid rent. Right? Wait, who? Who needs to pay rent? Is John in the chat? I don't know. He might be watching from Facebook. But I haven't seen his chats in Facebook, though. And I know he was possibly working after band practice, so he may not be here in the chat. There's a high possibility that he's not here. He's watching, I'm sure, but he might not be responding because he's working. He's kind of listening, watching. That makes sense. I can appreciate that, yeah. NVIDIA. NVIDIA. Yes. It all makes sense now. LOL, doing awesome. Got my new motherboard, CPU, and memory today. Nice. Did you go to a Micro Center? Did you accidentally pick up a 5070 or something else that they had in stock? Or are you waiting for that 9070 or? Can't remember. I feel like you said something about a GPU. Hey, what's up, John? He's here. Thanks, John. John voiced. He's here. Enjoying this a lot, but I gotta go play Arma. No worries, man. Go do your thing. Make sure you stop back in to see what it looks like here in about 30 to 40 minutes. We should be firing this thing up for the first time. For the very first time. We need our bag o' screws for our fans, included with the case, by the way. Canada comp. Oh, gotcha. The Canada's. Do you like to follow, what's his name? Gosh. Linus. Because he's Canadian. Hey? I'm sorry, it's terrible. I'm from Michigan, so I do get to hang out with a lot of Canadians, actually. I actually spent a lot of time over in the Canada when we used to drag race. We used to drag race at Grand Bend, Motorplex, a lot. So we had a lot of friends over there. It was really cool. Canadians are always just the nicest people, I feel like. Very friendly. I haven't been back to Canada since... It's got to be over 10 years. It's been a while. Haven't seen any of my friends over there in a long time. We've all grown up and started families and got busy. Watching while working, living this. Nice. Loving this. Gotcha. cool PC, John? Yeah, John's gonna be super stoked when he sees this thing. He was really worried that it wasn't gonna have any RGB. You guys think there's gonna be any RGB in the system? Oh, I'll be doing, yeah. You guys think? I broke up a girl fight in Canadian bar once. Jeez. That's kind of surprising. I bet you they were probably both Americans at a Canadian bar. Maybe not. God. There we go. We got our bottom fans installed. Well, I don't know what that's supposed to mean, Mike. All right, let's get the cooler out of its box, get the hardware out, and work on getting this thing installed. That's going to be one good step to being completed. One massive step for this PC. We might have another box avalanche tonight. It's starting to stack up. I need to do some box crushing. Looks great. Thank you, Tim. Thanks for hanging out, man. So we need thermal paste out of the hardware bag. Bag o' screws. And the AM4 bracket slash AM5 bracket. It's the same size. Same fitting. This guy. That's all we need out of this bag of hardware for this particular cooler. And of course, our fan splitter goes to the CPU fan header. I'm going to go ahead and put that in ahead of time. And send that through the hole. It's on the backside ready for us. We're going to be in waiting. And then we're going to undo all these twist ties. You guys see the pile of twist ties building up here? I mean, here. I'll give you an example. I'll put it on a white back. But here's twist ties building up from just this build. This is how many twist ties you have to deal with when you work with Thermalright. They are twist tie addicts. They're addicted to twist ties. That's where my hands landed. Oh, man. I mean, it is what it is. I guess you're breaking up a fight, so... We're still not done with the twist ties. Okay. with that being done, pulling this off. I'm gonna go ahead and prepare this. But I'm going to try to plug this sucker in. This would be the pump. I'll plug it in. I'm going to be plugging that into CPU option. And then feeding that cable to the back. As well. Then we're going to zip tie this like we did on the other ones. That helps keep things a little neat. Really helps with keeping the cables up by the fans. They're not slipping down. Trying to play peekaboo on us on the front of the PC after we get everything in there. Especially if you pull them taut. Really helps hold them up there. That's why I do that. I could put another zip tie on this and really keep it nice and clean. But we do need to be able to separate it a little bit on the out when we get to the back. So alright, and now we just kind of rest it there and feed these cables through the hole, which is extra small on the XR. Kind of like it'll take all your focus. And then eventually, we'll get all the cables pulled through here. We're ready to go. So now that those are pulled through, we're ready to mount this bad boy. So I've got a screw ready. Then we just start with one of the corners and then one on the other end in a corner that will hold the radiator in place. This is where you kind of want to look down the line and make sure all the holes are lined up nice and neat so that we can make it across all the way. Everything threads. We're good to go. That's how easy it is to put a Thermalright cooler in. A lot of people are still really critical. What do you mean? Hey, what's up, Dio? Is it Dio 600? And Brody? Brody, welcome to the Build Show. Dio, welcome to the Build Show. Bro, the 9070 XT is looking like a sweet deal. I'm so happy for AMD and gamers everywhere. Yes. I am going to Micro Center tomorrow. If they do happen to have one, I might be grabbing one. Maybe. We'll see. Get back in there. Last panel tried to leave the chat. Is a NVIDIA RTX 4070 super good with the AMD Ryzen 7 7700X? Yes. Of course it is. It's a great combo. A lot of people are still very critical about AMD, but they're playing to win. Yes. They are playing to win. On my AIO, Soldier, welcome to the Build Show. Soldier Hard, 89. On my AIOs, I always route the fan cables behind the screens of the fans, kinda to channel them. That's not a bad idea either. I'm just doing it because I do a lot of belts. This is how I do it. What's up, Army Vet, over there on the Twitch? How's it going, man? Good evening. Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. Yeah, behind the screws. I got what you were saying. I actually used to do that when I was doing like super clean, like crazy clean. But I've also found that if I have to take a cooler out, it makes it more difficult, or if I have to replace a fan, it makes it more difficult. So I kind of stopped doing that just because of it's more ethical when I have to do maintenance on these. And most likely, especially with the majority of these being local builds, they'll be coming back here for maintenance or upgrades or something. But, you know, you guys understand. And there we go. Nice and clean. No cables poking out here. One way to do it, zip tie. Zip tie to the center, right where the fan, center fan cable's coming out, and it just kind of holds it there in place nice and neat. That's one way to do it quickly, if you need a tip there. Next is our block. So we're going to go ahead and paste it up. I'm going to get this cable routed after the fact. Let's go ahead and paste it up, put the bracket on, and mount this bad boy. The cable management, though. I know. Ice and snow out there. 4 more days, and then the move day. Counting down, man. Counting down. There we go. Got our block on the CPU. We just got to tighten this down, and we can finish up that one RGB cable. Actually, get all the cable RGBs plugged, all the cooler cables plugged in. The only thing I have plugged in right now is the pump. And then you drop a GPU in here. Yeah, that looks nice. Nice and clean. I know we really can't see the EPS cables, but they are purple and black back there. The tight fit in the corner. Okay. Spin this guy around. Get all these plugged in. I don't know if it's going to come through here or go through the side. Looks like we're going to go through the... Go. Nice. Now we just have some bottom fans to clean up. We're good to go there with the fans. The fans will be plugged in and ready to go. Come on, dude. Move out of my way. Hey, what's up, Brody? It was just a long last song. This one ain't that bad. Oh, gotcha. Music is a little loud. Oh, I'm sorry. What song was that? I'll have to go look. Where were we at? Like 8 or an hour 19 just before that? I'll have to remember to go look at that song and see why it's so loud. But thank you for mentioning that. All right, there we go. Max is currently sleeping right now. Down here by my feet. Thermalright, the sea of cables. Truly the truth. Hey, what's up, Casey Walls? Welcome back to the Build Show. I've never been a fan of AIOs for pump failures reasons. Also, air coolers are cheaper, have the TDP requirements, and aren't prone to failure like AIOs, just 2 cents. True, but there are some use case scenarios where AIOs are better than the air coolers. But for the most part, I mean, you get about 5 years out of a AIO if there's no failures, which, you know, I have a lot of PCs out there with AIOs, and I think I've only ever had maybe a couple of pumps fail. So I use toothpaste. Yeah, the NTH2 is a great cooler. It's an awesome one. Still have yet to use it. What paste do I use? So this paste that I was using is from Thermalright. It's the TF7 is what it's called from Thermalright. But typically on super high-end builds, I will generally use Thermal Grizzly Cryonaut Extreme or just the regular Cryonaut, depending on what scenario we're using it for. Going to help my 5-year-old with his first PC build in a few days. Nice. Can't wait. Every day I get home from work, he will ask me, "Hey, Dad, Are we building the computer today? So cute. That's always cool. I actually did that with my daughter back when she was about, I think she was 10. I think she was about 10 when I had her build her own. I had her build it. I sat there and just told her what to do. She was a trooper and got through most of it. Brody, what game will your son play? Yeah, and what are the specs? What are the specs? Is the GTX 1660 a good option for an i7 2600K? I would say yes, the GTX 1660 or the GTX 1070 Ti would be good options for the i7 2600K. It makes a little bit of a difference. It's really the longevity is what it comes down to. How soon the paste dries up. Thermal Grizzly's just the best when it comes to that. It'll last the longest. Reaching that 5 streak, Army Vet over on Twitch. How are the 5700X 3Ds in your area? They're getting slim picking. They're getting harder to find. So if you do want a 5700X 3D, I do suggest going and get one sooner than later. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome, Cody. You're welcome. Yeah, make sure, Brody, tell us what the specs are. Bazooka Builders, welcome to the Build Show. I didn't see you come in here. Oh, you're the one that, where'd you come in at? You weren't the one. It was Brody that was saying the music was loud. Huh. Welcome to the Build Show. Hey, he has a used 3060 12 gig. That's a really good. Oh yeah, you told me about this build, I think yesterday. That's right. Sorry, I talked to a lot of people about a lot of PCs. So that is still pretty cool. It's a moment he will probably remember the rest of his life. I've been here for like 45 minutes. I'm sorry, Bazooka. I'm terrible at this. Like, my streamer skills are terrible. I apologize. Like, for example, Ron over on Facebook gave us a like, and so did Jesse, like an hour ago. Appreciate you. Both of you, thank you. How much are they? Oh, you were asking how much are the 50s. So 5700X 3Ds, Army Vet, they are around 170 bucks, I think. Somewhere in that price point. 170-ish, I think, at Micro Center. I wanted a 5700X 3D, but the TDP didn't make sense in my 4.3. Yeah, you told me it was a smaller case. Went with an Intel build because the i3 12100F has the lower TDP. That's a good call. Good call. Steven Anderson here in the chat would be proud of you for paying attention to the TDP. Do. Zip ties. Time for some zip ties. Make this headache disappear. Makes sense, Brody. It does. It does make sense. Yeah, those are all cool games. He's really gonna enjoy it. I mean, he'll really enjoy it on that system. He'll have a good time. Like I said, it'll be a memory that he'll cherish probably the rest of his life with Dad. That's a win in the Dad book. Alright, so I don't know why we're fighting this so hard. How about we pop that loose? I don't know who else is on this chain, but figure it out. Damn. Does not like the chain like that. Just gotta be careful with whichever one that was. This one. Super loosey-goosey. Might have to tape that up. Is it tape? Is it? Is it? Just a really loose ARGB connection. I just don't want it to come apart when we're cable managing it. Which is exactly what it wants to do. Nope. 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 We're out of zip ties. I mean, what else could I do with this bulge of just cable? There's just so much of it. Trying to be careful with it. We don't want to unplug anything. That's about as pretty as this bandwagon's gonna get. And that's gonna be a pain in the butt as it is to maintenance it if we ever had to. There we go. Nice and clean on the inside. This guy needs to somehow get pulled over that way. See you there. We'll deal with it in a minute. That guy needs to get pulled in. We'll deal with that when we flip it back over. Let's put the GPU in. We're going to be putting in a RTX 4060 Ti. This is what I got today. AMD Ryzen 7700X, a Ryzen 7 7700X, an Asus ROG Strix B650A, and a Corsair Vengeance RGB 32 gig ZDR5. Was that from Micro Center? Was that one of the bundles? Looks like one of the bundles. It's a good deal, by the way. One day I'm going to pull his leg and make him play EVE Online. Nice. Yeah, I make my daughter play PUBG. She's more of a kind of a Valorant player. Minecraft is a blast. You'll love it. Oh yeah. Can the Peerless Assassin cool any CPU? Ant-Man, it can cool most CPUs, but there is a TDP for the CPU rating, and then there's TDP that a cooler is rated for. So make sure you check the TDP rating of both the CPU and the cooler, and that's how you can determine if a cooler is rated to cool that CPU. The Peerless Assassin looks to be a very budget cooler. I don't know about any CPU. It's actually a very powerful cooler. Gamers Nexus did a really good review on it, and they really liked it. So, in my opinion, it's a great cooler that can go all the way up to, for example, an i9 or even a Ryzen 9. Definitely can cool those. I don't know if I would do it on a Ryzen. So if I'm building for a customer, I'm probably going to go for a better cooler. For example, if we're staying air cooled, the Noctua, what is it, the NH or NT-H2 or whatever it is. But that massive beast, that's probably the level I will go to for a customer. If it's my personal PC, I would probably just run a Thermalright Peerless Assassin. Oh, right. You said it was there in Canada. I'm sorry. It's been a long day. What's up, owner? Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. I'm terrible at this streaming thing. Yeah, it's pretty on par with a lot of AIOs. It's a pretty powerful tower air cooler. It's got the 6 heat pipes. It's got 2 120 millimeter fans and a crap ton of aluminum fins. And the heat pipes are direct contact too, so it's really good. Do you know any places that will print 3D side panels for me? No, but are you trying to like get a graphic on it? Because you could just etch the glass if that's what you're looking for. I don't know anywhere that would do a 3D print. I mean, I'm sure there's tons of places that do 3D prints. Just shop around. I'd stay local though, so you could, you know, walk in and show them the computer and the dimensions, and it'd probably be a lot easier that way. I'm sorry, Chris Kringle. How do I mess that up? Santa Claus. All right. I know somebody's getting cool coal in their stocking this year, and that's probably going to be me. So we're going to go with the Gigabyte GeForce RTX 4060 for this build today. This is a solid card for this system. It is a 3-fan model, so it'll fit very nicely with the build. Yeah, you can do laser too, yeah. Not the side panels that come on the A07 are not very well ventilated. Oh, okay. Weird thing is, go check like Pinterest to see if somebody made a side panel for the case. All good here. I know. Coal is great gift in Michigan. It is. It is a form of fuel that generates heat. That's an excellent point, Mike. And don't forget to peel your peels off your fans, guys. If you haven't done that, you should. And here's our 3-fan card going in. A nice fit. Looking pretty cool. Kind of looks like a gaming PC, yeah? Except for the glass just popped off here when I picked it up. How about we just keep that off for the rest? I can try to pop off on me. You want to stay off, then you can stay off. Talking to the glass, of course. And we pre-combed 2 of the combs on here, showing that demonstration earlier. I feel like it'd be the great spot to go in there. There we go. Looking really nice with that purple and black. All right, let's go ahead and drop the power supply in here finally. Then we can fire this thing up. John can see what his PC looks like for the very first time. By the way, this was the component that held the build up yesterday. It wasn't here. Now it's here. So we were missing this, which I thought we had, but apparently we didn't. I have a checklist when parts come in, and I checked it off. But when I looked for it, it wasn't here. So that was a mistake on my end. Not sure why that wasn't there. Interesting. Lovely. I already know why. I keep piling those boxes up higher and higher. Love them colors, yes. I like to see people give me, you know, cool colors to work with instead of just your typical white or black. You know, like black with black cables. White and black is cool. If we do like a white and black theme, that's really cool. That really pops. Once again, we are going to take this modular power supply and plug every cable into it because we don't want any cables missing. I know, darn missing component. Silly goose. You were supposed to be here. Made me look stupid on stream. I'm just kidding. Everybody made fun of me. It's all your fault, power supply. Alright. Maybe I should just stop buying modular power supplies. But literally, that's like all that's available now. Everybody makes modular power supplies now. Like $650 and down is hard to get modular unless you spend the extra time, but it doesn't usually make sense to do so. Hey Witch fams, what's up, man? Welcome to the Build Show. Is that power supply brand good? I've always thought of Corsair, or I've always bought Corsair, but I'm looking to get an 850 watt power supply, and I saw that brand is pretty affordable. You know, I've used these quite a bit, and I've never had an issue with them. I think I've only had ever one out of a very large sample rate have a problem, and it took a year to get to that problem, and it ended up being because the customer had cockroaches, and the cockroach climbed up into the power supply and fried itself on the power supply, so it wasn't even the power supply's fault. So that being said, they're still running today, and I have probably a good 100 or 200 or so out there in builds, and they work pretty good. Them two builds you did yesterday were cool builds. Yeah, they did. They are behind me on the bench right now. running benchmarks. So I've got Windows installed on them. I've got drivers installed, the BIOS done, all that. And right now I'm just running some benchmarks. I got to finish up going through the checklist on the benchmarks and the tests, but they're almost ready. Almost ready. But yeah, Corsair's a good brand for power supplies. You do pay a little bit for the premium. Segedtech is not a bad brand at all. I've used their 650s, their 750s, and their 850s. If I start getting into bigger than an 850, I do like to use Thermaltake or Seasonic, especially for like a premium build. Seasonic is always the best. But Thermaltake is another more budget-friendly option as well. They have some really good prices also. So if you're looking for a good power supply, Thermaltake tough. But I would say the GF, I think it's the A3 series, Tough Power is the better one out of their lineup. So just check the reviews. If there's bad reviews, don't buy it. That's really what it comes down to. Also, I think Gamers Nexus does a really good job going through a bunch of different power supplies and testing them. So that's another good video to watch if you haven't already. WickFams, Gamers Nexus. Go look at their channel and type in power supplies, and they've got a bunch of different videos and some very recent videos doing a whole bunch of tests. Corsair is the only PSU I'll buy. The downside to that, Jay's 2 Cents did post a video. Sorry, for some reason. I don't know, I got something in my mouth. Jay's 2 Cents just posted a video, actually, I think it was like a week or so ago, proving that Corsair's 16-pin power connection is the cheapest out of all of them. It was the cheapest made, anyway. Maybe it was just the one sample that he had, but I don't like. I don't build a lot of with the Corsair power supplies. I don't know, unless the customer requests it specifically. So. I also was not a big fan of their, well, I don't know. I don't like how they do the 16-pin 12-volt high-power connection, and they split it to two 8-pin connections, PCIe. I would like them to have both connections on both ends, like most universal power supplies have them. What's that? Mountain saw that? What? MT saw what? I wonder how many 9070s are going to be at each Micro Center. Hopefully more than the 5080, 5090 launch, because that was terrible. I've got a feeling that AMD is going to do it right. Yeah, they took their time. Instead of trying to force it right after that event, you know, the tech event, whatever you call it, the CES or whatever. They waited. So I think they did it the right way. Now it's coming out of the new year for China, so we should have more access to inventory going forward also. Who will be up? Alright, now we just gotta get everything plugged in. EPS, these two run up the side here. Our EQ power, like so. And then our 24 pin will plug in here. right there, and then we have our 8-pin EPS, or 8-pin PCIe for our GPU, which will untangle here. Perfect. Perfect, perfect. There we are. I'm going to tuck this guy down here first. That's the GPU. We kind of have to tuck that the right way. And these guys, the rest of these I'm just going to bundle up here. And we'll tuck away for future use. The reason why I put all the power supply cables in here, even though it's a modular power supply, is so that the power supply cables are available. I know I repeat myself like 1,000 times saying that, but I've had countless customers bring me their build back with a modular power supply and not have the cables. My fear is people throw these cables away, not thinking they're going to need them in the future because they sit around for a year. And then they're like, oh, I want to do a GPU upgrade. And then I'm like, well, we need another PCIe cable. Where is it? And they're like, oh, I threw those away. Against Ben's recommendations. So now I force you to keep them inside your system. So that is why I do this. Forcing you to keep them. Alright, with those out of the way, we can tuck this cable and we gotta figure out something there. Almost could be the Velcro. Yeah. Almost was the keyword. But I think it'll still work. Once we get the panel on, it's not going to matter. It'll push it flat. The key here is to keep this line right here. I might do one zip tie right there. Just to try to help hold the line. So that's the front side. Oh yeah, well, then we wanted to pull this up. I think we're a little off there. There we go. And then the last thing we got to deal with is our EPS cables here, which, generally speaking, I like to stagger 2 connections. So, a little higher than the other. You know what I'm saying? And I'll just drop a zip tie here because these are really not going to go anywhere. They're pretty stiff cables. Like so. Yeah. Tuck those in too. And that's about as good as it's going to get. With as many cables as we have in here. There's a ton of them. Not bad. I'm going to dip out a bit early today. No problem, man. Got this thing in the morning. Have a good night, some giant idiot. We'll see you around, man. Thanks for hanging out. Let's see here. What size PSU you think is going to be needed for a 9070? I'd say probably an 850. 850 to somewhere in that size. I think 850 would be fine. Of course, try to do an 850 that's gold and is a decent brand. Yeah, I've only ever bought Corsair. I'm sorry, I missed that. That one up above from Soldier Head. Sorry, I was catching up. Right now I have a 750 watt, but I need to upgrade to an 850 because my brother is going to give me a 4080 Super. Oh, that's pretty badass. I would consider almost going to 1000 watt. For example, Thermaltake Tough Power GFA3 1050 watt. You could get those for like 150 bucks on Amazon. I think they're about the same price at a Micro Center if you have one nearby. FaZe Darcy, welcome to the Build Show. I want to run the 9070 XT with the 9950X 3D coming out next week. 3D design with a little bit of gaming. Can't wait to do a Call of Duty, or I'm sorry, an OCD writing job. Nice. That's going to be a great combination. Yeah, the 9950X 3D, I haven't gotten to see a lot about those yet, so I don't know if it's going to be the same as the 7950X 3D, which had some weird quirks to it. So I'd watch some reviews on it if you can, or try to read up a little bit on it. Wickfam's RGB, really, man. What's up, Crazy Cat? Welcome back to the Build Show, or welcome to the Build Show. I don't know if you've been here before, actually. I think you're first timer. Solid, bro. To give you a PC with a 4080 Super. Yeah, I know. It's a solid brother giving you a 4080 Super. You could flip that on Marketplace for like 1,400 bucks right now if you wanted to. Wasn't up to me. The PC was a gift for my brother, and he loves RGB. Yeah. I mean, that's a solid brother right there. Already pushing it with a 750 watt 7800 X3D. No, the 750 watt can handle that. You're not pushing it. You got headroom there. A little bit of headroom. Not a lot, but you have some. I'm still on the fence with the 7700X or the 9700X. Is about a $20 difference. I'd just go with the 9700X. It's newer gen. Hey, what's up, Loop? Looks good, bro. Thank you. Thanks for joining us over there on the Kick. Welcome back to the Build Show, sir. Love the purple. Yeah, let me flip it over for you. Here's what it looks like on the other side. Loopy. Sorry. Loopy. You know I'm terrible at this. You've been here long enough to know I'm terrible at the streaming thing. All right, so now that that's done, let's clean up some of this hardware really quick, and let's get this thing fired up. I hope John's nearby and ready to tell us that he wants to power it on. We're gonna ask him to tell us when he's ready for us to power this on. Hope you're ready to tell us. We might be sitting here while we're waiting for you. Couple extra purple cables for future editions. Wow, pretty cool. So we have matching cables that go with the kit, hardware kit. That way, if he upgrades his card, he'll have matching cables. Hey, thank you, Dino2D. Thank you for the follow. Over there on the Twitch. Looks good, dude. That's awesome. Plug it in. Yeah, that's what I'm doing, man. I'm trying to get it plugged in. John, permission granted? Oh boy, we already have permission. From the man himself. Well, we better get the glass on. Actually, I was supposed to put the back panel back on too. Oh, that might be a little tricky now. Hopefully I don't bump the power button and turn it on while it's upside down. Wouldn't that just ruin the moment? All right, side view, here we go. Where's my mouse? Boy, we're really zoomed in there. Hold on, let's fix the camera and then we'll fire this thing up. There we go. Let's get some focus on this thing. Yeah? Yeah, look at that. Purple just peeking out there. All right, John. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Fans are spinning. That's a good sign, right? We got some RGB. Where's the rest of it? Did I unplug an RGB cable somewhere? Very possible that I unplugged a RGB cable. 99.9% sure I did. Came just in time, Tat. Yeah, just in time to see us powered up. And we've got a RGB cable that's unplugged down here somewhere. I bet I know which one it is. Guaranteed it's going to be the one with tape. I'm going to have to fix that. I don't know how we're going to, but... It's a very loose RGB connection. So, I'm gonna have to play around with that. You move out of my way. There we go. Now we can see all the RGB. Except for bounce the camera out of frame. And focus seems a little off now. It's not your fault. It's not because I forgot to plug something in. I actually had it plugged in. It just came unplugged. I don't know. Somewhere in there looks good. There we go. John, we have a post, power on self-test, and it is looking beautiful. Still blurry. I don't get why it's still blurry. Thought we focused pretty good. Maybe it's the zoom level. I don't know. That looks a little better. I can't tell. Maybe it's the lighting. Done playing with it. It looks pretty cool. That is your build, sir. Now all you gotta do is set the RGB to purple when we get in there. Get the software installed. Set it to purple. John, awesome. I gotta stay up all night so I can snag one of those video cards. Well, I am going to Micro Center tomorrow, Tap, but I'm probably not going to go until later in the day. So if there is one there, and you say, hey, I wasn't able to get one. If there's one there and you tell me to get it, I will grab it for you. You just got to be able to pay for it for me to ship it to you. There it is, John. Build number 27 for 2025 is yours. And now we got to move on to Windows, drivers, BIOS updates, all that good stuff, and then we got to test it. And then it should be ready for pickup tomorrow. So at some point. So we're gonna should have it ready at some point, probably later in the day for you. So I'll keep you posted on when it's ready for pickup. Different cards with different clocks. Yes, there are always different cards with different clocks. Usually, Tat, the Sapphire Nitro is going to be the better card for the AMD lineups. So if that's a card that you can target and you can get, it's generally a more expensive card, but it is a great card. Almost all the time. I don't think they've ever released a bad one. Another one well done. Thank you, Bert. Thank you. If I can snag one and you accept PayPal, yeah, I could do that. Sweet build. Thank you, Sir Chris Kringle. Thank you. But there you have it. It's built. It's done. I did suggest that we could do 2 builds tonight, but we're already at midnight here. It's 11:48. We started a little later because John didn't get out of band practice until 9, so I wanted to make sure that he was able to watch his build stream, so we didn't start until 9 today, or after 9. You message me tomorrow? Sounds good. Yeah, just let me know if you get one. Or if you need me to try to get one. I'll see if they have them there. It'll be around 6 p.m. Eastern time when I'm down there at Micro Center, if I make it out there. I'm going to try to go tomorrow, but it won't be until around 6 p.m. So it'll be well after the morning rush, and throughout the day. I have to pick up a couple of things over there. Specifically an Arctic 360mm cooler that is hard to find right now for some reason. Thank you, Ben. We'll see you tomorrow. Yeah, John, we'll see you tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in for the build stream, guys. 5 p.m. my time. Yes. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. I am going to call it for the night. We are going to do one more build stream tomorrow. And then Friday, I do have my surgery, so I will be out Friday, and depending how I feel after the outpatient surgery, Saturday we might have a build stream, but I would say plan on it being probably Monday or Tuesday night. Just give myself a couple of days. It's a groin hernia surgery, and I don't know how sore I'm going to be. So I don't want to make any promises for the weekend. But thank you, everybody, for joining us. We'll see you on the next one tomorrow, for sure. And then from there, we'll have the weekend. So thanks again for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night, guys. Good times. Thank you for sharing. Yeah, no problem. Thanks for joining. We'll see you guys. Have a good night.